There was a time when they were on top. They had the biggest songs and everyone was talking about them. They were the new stars of rap and people thought they would stay big forever. They had style, they had fans, and they had the spotlight. But now things are different. The songs are not hitting like before. People don't talk about them the same way and the hype is gone. Some of them stopped dropping music. Others tried but couldn't keep up with the new artists. The rap game moves fast and if you don't keep growing, you get left behind. This is the story of the female rappers who used to be big, but now they've fallen off. Coi Leray came in with a glow no one could ignore. She had the look, the moves, the catchy beats, and a vibe that made people pay attention. She wasn't just another name trying to blow up, she had a different sound. Something bold, something loud, something fun. When she dropped songs like No More Parties and Big Purr, the whole internet talked about her. She had people doing dances all over TikTok. Her face was everywhere and people started saying she was the next big thing. She didn't sound like anyone else. She didn't dress like anyone else. She didn't act like anyone else. And for a while, that made her stand out. But as time went on, the same things that made people love her started to push people away. The internet can lift you up fast, but it can flip on you just as quick. And Coi Leray learned that the hard way. At the start, she had a moment. She had that energy that made people feel like something new was happening in music. She didn't need a cosign. She built her wave off social media. She used her look, her voice, her wild energy, and turned herself into a star. People were calling her bold, fearless, different. She had fans, she had critics, but most of all, she had attention. And in this game, attention is everything. But attention comes with pressure. When you're new, people love you. But once you're famous, they expect more. They want bigger songs, deeper lyrics, flawless live shows, and constant hits. And if you don't deliver, they start to turn away. That's what started happening to Coi. After her breakout, her name was everywhere, but the music didn't always hit the same. Some people said her voice was too high, her flow was too playful, her lyrics too basic. They wanted her to be more serious, more lyrical, more grown, but that's not who she was. And the more she tried to please everyone, the more she lost what made her unique. And the more people started to drift away. Coi tried different styles, different sounds. She dropped songs that were supposed to be big, but they didn't connect the same way. She had a song with Nicki Minaj, and even that didn't change things for long. It was like the hype was slipping and no one could stop it, not even her. At the same time, people started talking more about her looks than her lyrics, more about her body than her bars. She'd go viral for her outfits or her dances, but not for the songs. And that's when you know something's wrong. When the music fades and all that's left is the image, it means the art is no longer leading the way. She tried to stay in the game. She kept dropping tracks and showing up on features. She kept smiling online, posting content, trying to stay visible. But the numbers weren't the same. The fans weren't reacting like before. And slowly, her name started to fade from the big conversations. And then came the criticism. People online called her mid. They said she couldn't rap. They said she only blew up because of TikTok. They said she was just a trend and not a real artist. That stuff hurts. Because when you come in with love and end up with hate, it shakes your confidence. It makes you question if you were ever good enough to begin with. Coi started clapping back. She tweeted about being underrated. She said people didn't get her. She said she was ahead of her time. But no matter what she said, the momentum wasn't there anymore. The songs weren't sticking the same way. And her buzz was now quiet. It wasn't just fans either. Even other artists started distancing themselves from her. The features stopped. The interviews slowed down. The magazine covers weren't coming in. And you could feel it, like the world had moved on without her, like the spotlight was on someone new. And that's the painful part of this game. It moves fast. One day you're viral, the next day you're invisible. And unless you have a core fan base that really rocks with you, you can't survive off hype alone. Coi had fans, but not a strong base. Not the type that would ride for her through the ups and downs. She started doing more shows, trying to stay relevant. But even those had problems. People would clown her live performances. They'd say she was offbeat or too loud or awkward. And those clips would go viral for all the wrong reasons. Instead of boosting her career, they made her a joke to some people. When you become a meme more than a musician, it's hard to get taken seriously again. And that's what happened to Coi. She became an easy target for jokes and hate. And no matter what she dropped, people already made up their mind. They weren't giving her a real chance. She tried to talk about it. She said she felt alone. She said she was tired of people dragging her for being herself. She opened up about her mental health. She tried to be real, but in this industry, people don't always care about that. They just want hits. And when you're not giving them hits, they move on. And the sad part is, Coi wasn't even doing anything wrong. She stayed in her lane. She didn't cause drama. She wasn't out here beefing with people or chasing clout. She was just trying to make music and be herself. But sometimes, being yourself isn't enough when the crowd decides they are done with you. She even tried dropping albums, but they didn't move the needle. The streams were light, the reviews were mixed, and worst of all, nobody was talking about it. Silence is louder than hate, because at least when people hate, they're still watching. But when people stop caring, that's when the fall really begins. She kept trying. She changed her image, she tried different aesthetics, she worked with new producers, she even leaned into pop a bit, trying to reach a wider audience. But nothing hit like No More Parties did. Nothing caught fire. And when you chase a moment, it usually runs from you. Her social media presence also changed. She started posting less. Her energy was different. The confidence looked forced. She used to have that wild, fearless glow. But now it seemed like she was moving carefully, trying not to mess up. That spark, it wasn't there anymore, and fans noticed. They weren't mean, just quiet. They stopped engaging. They stopped caring. They moved on to new artists. Female rap had exploded. New names were rising, and Coi was getting left behind. She wasn't the face anymore. She was just a memory of a moment that passed. The industry didn't protect her either. Labels don't wait. If you're not hot, you're not a priority. So she lost support. The budget got smaller. The opportunities dried up. And she had to start doing more by herself. That's when you really feel it. When it's all on you and the world is just watching. But what hurts the most is knowing she had it. She had the moment. She had the attention. She had the voice, the look, the tools. But the world shifted too fast. The sound changed. The culture moved. And she didn't move with it fast enough. She stayed true to herself. But in this game, sometimes that's not enough. Coi Leray fell off not because she wasn't talented, but because the wave she came with disappeared. And she didn't have a solid base to hold her up. She was floating on virality. And once that faded, there was nothing under it. No foundation, no structure. Just fading noise. And maybe that's the lesson here. In this new era of rap, especially for women, the game is fast. TikTok fame comes quick, but staying in the game takes more than just trends. You need timeless music, real fans, and a vision that lasts. Without that, even stars like Coi can fall. But don't get it twisted. She's still young. She's still got time. The industry moves fast, but comebacks are always possible. Maybe she'll find her sound again. Maybe she'll connect again. Maybe she just needs one more hit to get back on top. Because even when you fall, the story's not over. Not if you're still fighting. But for now, the truth is clear. The Coi Leray wave that once took over is gone. And in today's music world, that fall is loud. Not because people are talking, but because now they're not talking at all. She was on top of the world just a few months ago. Everyone knew her name and her face was all over TikTok, Instagram. And every music blog, Ice Spice, had the type of rise that most artists only dream about. She went from being a nobody in the Bronx to the most talked about female rapper in the world. In less than a year, her song Munch was playing everywhere. Her hair, her voice, her look. Everything about her stood out, and she quickly became one of the hottest names in music. People were calling her the new princess of rap. Others were saying she was next up to take over. Nicki Minaj even jumped on a remix with her, and Drake flew her out early in her career just to meet her. It felt like Ice Spice was untouchable. Every song she dropped was getting millions of streams. Her music was in every TikTok trend. She had brands reaching out. She was doing interviews with the biggest outlets. She was sitting front row at Fashion Week with A-list celebrities. Her life changed overnight, and it didn't slow down one bit. She performed at Rolling Loud. She did Coachella. She showed up at the BET Awards, and people were screaming her name. It was like the world couldn't get enough of Ice Spice. But now everything feels different. The internet isn't buzzing about her anymore. Her songs aren't hitting like they used to. The streams have dropped. The hype is gone, and people are starting to say it out loud. Ice Spice fell off, and it happened fast. Like one minute she was everywhere, and the next she disappeared. So what really happened? How did the girl who had the world in her hands lose it all in such a short time? To understand the fall of Ice Spice, we need to start with her rise. Her breakout single Munch wasn't just a hit, it was a cultural moment. The beat was simple but catchy. Her voice was calm but confident. The lyrics were bold, and girls everywhere started quoting her. She had this vibe that felt fresh, like she wasn't trying too hard. She was just being herself, and that's what made people fall in love with her fast. She didn't follow the same formula as other rappers. She wasn't trying to be tough or overly sexual. She was cool, calm, and unique. Then came the cosign, and that's when her fame exploded. Drake followed her and flew her to Toronto. Nicki Minaj showed love and hopped on Princess Diana. Big artists rarely give that kind of attention to new rappers, but Ice Spice had the wave. Everyone wanted to be a part of it, and for a while, it worked. Every single she dropped went viral. Her style became iconic with the curly ginger hair, the baby voice, and the minimalist flow. People copied her look, talked like her, rapped like her. She was the moment. But moments don't last forever, and that's where the problem started. Ice Spice didn't change her sound. Her flow stayed the same, her beats stayed the same, her lyrics stayed in the same lane, and people noticed the first time it was different, the second time it was cool, the third time it was okay, but by the fourth and fifth song, fans were getting bored. They started saying all her songs sound the same. They joked that you could play them back to back and not know when one ends and the next begins. Even when she got huge features like Nicki or collaborations with Taylor Swift and Pink Pantheress. It didn't help for long. The songs got attention at first, but they didn't stick. People listened once, maybe twice, and then moved on. They didn't go viral like Munch or Bikini Bottom. They didn't start trends like before the excitement faded because nothing felt new anymore. She had the same voice, the same delivery, the same vibe, and no growth. The industry moved fast while Ice Spice stayed still. Other female rappers started gaining momentum. Sexy Y Red came out with her raw energy and street personality. Glorilla was putting Memphis on her back. Flo Milli stayed consistent with her unique style, and Doja Cat was making wild moves that kept people talking. Compared to them, Ice Spice started feeling safe. Too safe, and in music, safe is boring. People want to be surprised, they want to feel something new, and Ice Spice stopped giving them that. Another big issue was her silence. While her popularity started slipping, she didn't speak up. She didn't drop anything different. She didn't tease a new direction or try a freestyle that shocked people. She just went quiet. She still showed up to events, she still posted on Instagram, but musically, she wasn't giving anything new, and that silence started to feel loud, like she didn't know what to do next, or maybe she was hoping things would fix themselves. But in the music industry, you don't get time to pause, the internet moves fast, and fans lose interest even faster, so when she didn't give them something to talk about, they moved on to someone else, and just like that. The same fans who once called her the future of rap started calling her a one-hit wonder. The same people who played Munch every day started skipping her new drops, and the same blogs that hyped her up stopped posting about hers. Some people blame her label for pushing her too fast. They say she wasn't ready for all that pressure, she got thrown into the spotlight without the time to grow, and now she's paying for it. Others say she got lazy and thought the fame would last forever without putting in the work. Some say she was never really that good, just trendy, and once the trend faded, there was nothing left but no matter what. The reason is everyone agrees the momentum is gone. It's not that she's untalented, she clearly had something special at one point. She had the ear for catchy music, the look for the camera, the personality to connect with fans, but she didn't evolve. And when artists don't evolve, they fade. It doesn't matter how big they were, if they don't adapt, they get left behind, and right now, Ice Spice is getting left behind. She still has fans who support her, she still has a platform. She could come back if she changes something, but it won't be easy. The internet is cold. Once they decide you're done, they don't look back unless you shock them, unless you prove them wrong with something undeniable, and so far, she hasn't done that yet. The sad part is, she had all the tools to last. She had the cosigns, the labels, the money, the look, and the audience, but the music didn't grow. And when the music stops growing, the fame fades. People want artists, they can grow with artists who surprise them, challenge them, connect with them. And Ice Spice hasn't done that in a long time. Maybe she's working in silence, maybe she's cooking up something big, maybe she'll return with a whole new sound and blow everyone's mind, or maybe this is it. Maybe the moment has passed and she'll become another name that we remember for a year or two and then forget. It's crazy how fast it all happened. From viral success to mainstream fame to fading out, all in less than 2 years. Ice Spice lived the dream, and now she's facing the reality. The same platform that built her is the one that's tearing her down, and unless she finds a way to evolve, she'll stay in the past while the rest of music moves forward. This is the rise and fall of Ice Spice, and it's a reminder that in music, being different can take you far, but staying the same will bring you down faster than you think. There was a time when Chrisean rock was a name on everybody's lips, not just in music, not just on social media, but everywhere. She had the spotlight, the chaos, the headlines. People couldn't look away. She was raw, wild, unpredictable, but that's also what made her fall so painful to watch. It's like watching a fire you can't put out. You know it's burning everything around it, but part of you still hopes it stops. Chrisean had that kind of fame. That fast, bright, dangerous kind. The kind that burns out just as fast as it blew up. This is the story of how Chrisean rock fell, and how it all slipped through her hands. Chrisean started out with hope. She had dreams like anyone else. She was athletic, she ran track, she wanted something big out of life, and when Blueface came into the picture, everything changed. It started like a regular love story, Boy meets girl, girl falls for boy. But this wasn't just any relationship. This was the kind of love that didn't look like love at all. Fights, drama, tears, broken things, broken people. And the internet was watching all of it. Every move, every scream, every punch. People called it toxic. But it was more than that. It was painful. And yet, Chrisean stayed. She wasn't just a girlfriend. She was a personality, a brand. People started following her for the chaos. The more she cried, the more people watched. The more she fought, the more viral she went. It didn't matter if she was hurt. What mattered was the clicks. And Chrisean kept giving them something to talk about. But behind those posts and live streams, you could tell something wasn't right. This wasn't just entertainment. It was real life. Her life. And it was falling apart in front of everyone. The tattoos were like a timeline. His name, his face, her body was becoming a billboard for someone who didn't love her back the same way. But she didn't stop. The more he pushed her away, the more she ran after him. It was like she needed his chaos to feel alive, and people kept feeding it, laughing at it, commenting on it, making memes out of her pain. She became a joke to some, a symbol of heartbreak to others. But very few saw her as a human being. She was just Chrisean Rock, the girl who fought anyone, cried on camera, and always came back for more. Then came the baby, and everything changed again. Some thought it would calm things down, that motherhood would make her step back, focus, grow up. But life doesn't always work that way. The drama didn't stop. If anything, it got worse. The fights turned public. The pain turned louder. Blueface was out living his life, while Chrisean was left trying to find herself in the mess. The same people who once supported her were now turning on her, calling her unfit, saying she was using the baby for clout. Nothing she did was ever enough, and it showed in her face, the energy, the light. It was fading. She tried to rap, she dropped songs, she tried to be taken seriously in music, but the world didn't care about her lyrics, they just wanted the drama. And that's the problem. Once the internet sees you as a character, it's hard to be seen as an artist. People didn't listen to her bars. They waited for the next fight, the next meltdown, the next viral moment. So even when she tried to turn things around, the past kept pulling her back. And slowly, her career started slipping away. She lost deals, lost fans, lost respect. The more she spoke, the more people tuned out. Some said she was crazy. Others said she needed help. But help wasn't coming. At least not in a way that could really save her. She was alone, even with millions watching. Fame is cold like that. It gives you all the attention you want, but none of the love you need. And Chrisean was learning that the hard way. Her relationship with Blueface became even more toxic. Public fights, accusations, jealousy, infidelity, and through all that, she still had a child to raise. A new life in the middle of chaos. People were judging her parenting before she could even breathe. No one gave her a break. And she didn't give herself one either. She kept going, kept posting, kept talking, even when it was clear she needed rest, healing, peace. Some fans stayed loyal. They said she was just misunderstood, that she was doing her best, but the numbers didn't lie. Views dropped, engagement fell, brands pulled back, and the industry started moving on. There were new stars, new names, and Chrisean wasn't the trending topic anymore. She had become a reminder, a warning of how fast things can change. The same internet that made her a star was now ignoring her, unless she did something wild, unless she cried, or screamed, or exposed someone. That was the only time people paid attention. And that kind of fame breaks a person slowly, because deep down you start to wonder, am I only worth something when I'm broken? Chrisean's story is hard to watch, not because she's evil, not because she's dumb, but because she's human. And her fall didn't happen overnight, it happened in small steps, with every bad decision, every missed opportunity, every time she put love over peace, pain over healing, chaos over growth. She didn't fall because she wasn't talented. She fell because the world wanted her to stay a mess, and she gave the world what it wanted. Maybe one day she'll come back stronger. Maybe she'll find her peace, her voice, her truth. Maybe she'll show the world that she's more than a meme, more than a meltdown. That deep inside the pain is a woman who wants to be better, do better, live better. But that's up to her. No one else can do it for her. Until then, this is where she stands. Not at the top, not at the bottom, but somewhere in between. Lost, tired, fighting to be seen as more than just a headline. The fall of Chrisean Rock wasn't just about fame, it was about pain, and how easy it is to lose yourself when the world is always watching, but not really caring. There was a time when some of these artists might come back, others might stay quiet forever, but one thing is clear, fame doesn't last if you don't keep working, changing, and staying true to the music. The rap game has space for everyone, but it doesn't wait for anyone. One day, you're the hottest name out, and the next, people forget you were even here. It's tough, but it's real. Maybe some of them will find their way back. Maybe they won't. Either way, their stories are a lesson. Never get too comfortable because the game never stops moving.